Hey guys, Mike here. So today, I'm here to talk to you about 1994's Forrest Gump, starring Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump. In Forrest Gump, we follow Forrest, who goes through the Vietnam War, becomes a millionaire, runs across America, and while all this is going on, trying to win the heart of his childhood sweetheart, Jenny. And so we have Forrest Gump. So guys, today's review was requested by no one. This one I just want to talk about because it's on the poster, so I'm going to talk about it. And I'm really happy that this movie made it onto this poster because this is pretty much one of my all-time favourite movies. And I love pretty much everything about it. But to be honest, I haven't watched this film in a number of years now. I don't actually know when the last time I watched it was. So I was really hoping that this film still stands up today. So, what did I think of Forrest Gump? Well, this is easily one of Tom Hanks's best performances that he's ever given. So much so that it won the man his second Oscar. And it's very easy to see why. On surface level, Forrest may just seem like a simple one-note kind of guy, but there's just so much more to him than that. He's loving, he's kind, he's loyal, he's pretty much everything that makes a good person. He doesn't judge, he doesn't hate, he just accepts people for who they are. And in the time and place where he was born, that might have been a very hard thing for a person to do. And even though Forrest does have a very low IQ, and really probably could have struggled through life, and certain aspects of life are still challenging for him, just the personal things to him are very simple. Like I said, be a good man, be a good friend. But the thing that's simplest for him is love. Because, and I've said this for a long time, Jenny is pretty much one of the worst human beings who ever lived. In fiction, that is, anyway. I mean, obviously, first of all, this isn't a dig at Robin Wright because she is very good in this film, and arguably is one of the driving forces that makes this film as good as it is. Realistically, Jenny is just a horrible person. I know the character had a really bad upbringing, and it did affect a lot of the decisions that she makes in life, but when it comes to Forrest himself, she's nothing but horrible. I mean, sure, when she's there in person, she's nice to him, she talks to him like, you know, a decent person, until she doesn't. When all that Forrest does is show him nothing but kindness, love, and respect, she repays him by being disrespectful, distant, and just outright abandoning him at very significant points in his life. I think probably the worst thing as well is that, you know, bit of a spoiler for the film, but hopefully you've actually seen the movie. But in any case, you know, spoiler warning. The whole film is building up to the fact that Forrest is on his way to go see Jenny when he starts to tell his life story. But when he actually gets to her, he finds out that the reason that she wanted to talk to him was to introduce him to her son, and his son actually as well. And as well, I would say the only reason as to why she is now telling him that his son exists is because she's dying of an incurable disease. So I imagine that if she wasn't dying of an incurable disease, she would never have told him about his son's existence. And obviously the reason she's telling him now is so that her son can, you know, have somewhere safe to live, which, you know what, it's fair enough, you know, you want your son to be taken care of. But she didn't tell the guy about his son. That for me, no. When again, he's been nothing but good to her. But again, it just plays into the pureness and what makes Forrest Gump's character so great. It's that love for him is so simple. For someone who is probably a bit more intelligent or sees the world in a slightly pessimistic way, a person would probably take one look at Jenny's character, or, you know, Jenny as a person rather, and just say, no, sorry, you're just not for me, like, or, no, you're just too much of a horrible person, or just, nah. They would probably just look at her past and just think, sorry, I don't want all that baggage. But with Forrest, he just sees Jenny. He doesn't see her past. He doesn't see her future. He just sees her. And he just loves her. Like he says, he's not a smart man, but he knows what love is, and he loves Jenny. And there is something quite simplistically beautiful about that. It kind of plays into that whole ignorance is bliss thing, because it is often said that people who are less intelligent tend to find more fulfillment in life, whereas more intelligent people would probably really be overthinking and be really anxious all the time. Obviously, they're not a one-to-one comparison, and that's not the case for every single human being on Earth. But it does tend to be the case that if you're not thinking so much all the time, you tend to kind of stop and appreciate and just not worry as much. And that's really the thing with Forrest. I mean, ultimately as well, his character does end up finding success because he just kind of blindly follows what other people tell him to do. He gets into football because someone tells him to. He enlists in the army because he's told to. He gives a speech about the Vietnam War to thousands of people because he's told to. He goes on a ping pong tour across China because he's told to. And finally, he becomes a shrimp boat captain because he was told to. Now, again, realistically, it's not as simple as that some of the times. I mean, he became a shrimp boat captain in the end to fulfill a promise to Bubba, his friend. He probably still would have done it anyway, but it was really to fulfill the promise to his friend from Vietnam. And that's obviously very beautiful. And as well, I would say that the millions of dollars that the guy has is realistically because of luck, circumstance, and as well, someone else kind of taking care of his money for him. Though he does have a lot of the things in life because of perseverance, but quite a few of the good things he has in life is because of interference from other people, or just downright luck. A lot of the times as well, he ends up shaping historical events purely by accident, which as well just kind of lends itself into the comedy of Forrest Gump, which is another strong aspect for this film. This film is hilarious. Sometimes it doesn't mean to, sometimes it's intentional, but for the most part, this film is very funny, though I wouldn't say it's the thing that it's primarily setting out to do. I would say that Forrest Gump is more of a drama, and it definitely hits the nail on the head in those aspects as well. This film constantly makes it into lists of amazing tear-jerking movies, and over 25 years on, it still manages to hit you right at your core. This is such a beautiful story that is just so satisfying and heart-wrenching to watch, and it definitely earns every single thing that it sets out to do. I would say that probably the one thing that is a little bit not as good as it used to be is the lip syncing, because there are certain points in the film where he meets ex-presidents or dead presidents or famous musicians, and they try and comp in, you know, lines of dialogue that they didn't say on the day. So they'll have ellipse over the characters, you know, saying those lines. But it doesn't look as good as you probably remember it would. You can definitely tell that these lines are dubbed and that they have replaced the lips of all the characters. I mean, it's not ridiculously distracting, it's not completely terrible, but by today's standards of what we can actually do with this technology, it don't look that great. But I mean, one minor nitpick for an amazing film is definitely nothing that would sink the ship. Overall, guys, Forrest Gump is just an incredible masterpiece of cinema. On surface level, this can seem like a very simple story, but at its core, it's about so much more than that. It's about love, trust, friendship, fulfillment, and just trying to enjoy your life as best you can. And as well, it's about a simple man who only requires one simple thing: to love and to be loved. And that is beautiful. But do I think you guys should watch this one? Absolutely. If you haven't seen Forrest Gump, then you absolutely need to check this film out. It's pretty much got something for everyone. This film has stood the test of time. It's got Tom Hanks at the absolute height of his just unstoppable career. And it's just an amazing film. Just watch Forrest Gump. Okay, guys, that's my review of Forrest Gump. Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you think I should watch next? Whatever it is, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya.